I'm going to raise my cup to you, Caffeine.
Ooh, thanks so much.
Happy week 11. And
week
lovely.
11.
Week 11. To anyone who's in the know. 11. It's when you get stuck in a lift, two Scotsmen, on a voice-activated, seen the sketch, it's very funny. Chew the fat, or one of them, and they get stuck in this lift. And they're trying to. I've talked about this.
You spoke about this last week,
didn't
I?
Last week.
I did. Sorry. There's nothing like using old material,
no,
but it was voice activated, like my dictaphone, which still swears beautifully. So welcome back, everyone. Thank you for following us. So much love out there for the podcast. Oh my God, the poddy, as I'm affectionately calling it.
Poddy.
How bougie does that sound? We have. Can I start with? We are Caf.
Oh yes, hello.
We are Caf.
We are Caf.
We are Caf.
We are
collectively Caf.
We are Patsy, and we are
with an
also
F, it's very important.
Yeah, Caf.
And I'm
Caf.
Patsy with a Y, not an I. Oh, I sound like Liza Minnelli.
Jamie with a J.
Jamie with a J and an I.
Not an H.
Not an H.
Hemi. It could be. If you were on holiday.
Oh, you spat all over it. We're going to start. I need to bring the errata in straight away because, you know, the famous errata where we make mistakes. I make mistakes. Mark Manners is actually 6'4" tall. He came along and reminded us of that on the seafront at the weekend, which was nice. He said, I'm 6'4". Mark, it's going in the errata. And thank you for the marmalade. Something else which is quite amusing. To Gange, we had Ray Gange here, didn't we, last week?
Sure
the lovely
did.
Ray Gange,
Yeah.
what fun he
Yeah,
was.
fun.
So we've now decided to Gange is now a verb, right? After Ray Gange, to walk slowly down one's own road in the hope that you might get into another road. Possibly even the seafront. But you get stopped by so many lovely people and chat about the beautiful nonsense that is St Leonards and Hastings. A delightful and grateful pastime.
Nice.
Does that will that fit in the book, do you think?
Yes, that'll fit.
To Gange.
To Gange, absolutely.
Gange.
Yeah.
He's no longer just
Gange,
a name,
we
a
Gange.
noun. We Gange. We Gange together.
Oh, it's lovely.
It's lovely, isn't it?
I've just realised we've got the door open, which might make it more echoey here. So shall I close it? Or
So you're beep, beep, beep.
Just moving backwards.
Beep,
Beep, beep.
So Jamie's
This vehicle is
reversing. Oh, nice.
Well, we are recording the sound four or five different ways, so hopefully it works.
I know.
Let's see.
Because last week we did beautifully and didn't even switch them on, which is absolutely marvellous. So we just had the one. But we are not professional. We're just doing this because we love the town.
For fun.
I've
Yeah.
never claimed
For
to be a
fun.
sound man. I've never
I'm not a sound man. I'm not a sound man. What you got, girlfriend?
I've got, thank you to Charlotte Haley Watts, who was in touch about an event that's happening over at Stade Hall on Friday, 25th of April, and that is Acting for Change, which is an invitation for people to come along and try out their own experience of forum theatre. So that is, basically it's called Theatre for the Oppressed is the theory behind it. Boal is this very well known in the acting and, you know, kind of theoretical circles anyway, theatre maker who uses applied theatre techniques for social change. So you're all in a big crowd and you can kind of jump in and change the narrative as things move along, and it's a very free form structure in which to be able to play and experiment with different versions of who's in control of what and power and dynamics and that kind of thing. So it's a really interesting and enjoyable way to play together. And for me, it's just, I'd love to be there. I'm away when it's happening, but
will there be more?
I hope so, because there's been a little bit of a buzz amongst various people in, you know, theatre and directing and, you know, practitioner world saying, I'm kind of hungry for this, and then so somebody mentioned that, and then it turns out that Charlotte's group are going to be doing that, but there will be more hopefully as well. So we might even get her in to have a chat, because she was quite keen to do that, so we could hear a bit more.
Bring her.
And yeah, I mean, I've heard about her across all sorts of different things. She's worked with the museum and all sorts of other things as well. So interesting person to speak to. That's
Nice.
Charlotte. So thank you very much, Charlotte, and good luck with the flyering. I know you've just been asking people to help with that in Eastbourne and Bexhill. So it sounds like it's going to be an interesting and engaging. Yeah, kind of, go along, and if you've never tried anything like that before, try it now, because it's time to get out and play, I think, as the springtime comes.
Well, if it's gonna, I was gonna say kick off. I don't mean kick off.
Things are going to kick off.
It's gonna kick off. If it's gonna start anywhere, it'll start here, really.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that is true.
We're good at starting stuff.
Oh.
We're good at starting stuff. Yeah, we're good at creating things.
Yeah. There's a lot more I
Nice.
could say about it, but I feel I'd need to do a little bit more homework to get all of the terminology completely correct. But
Right.
I did use his principles in my MA course to understand how to change the dynamics of a group and how you might work together. So it's a really interesting way, even for people who just set up groups and want to see how you might work differently with them.
Yeah.
Theatre's a great space to experiment with that. So
Yeah, because we always think of groups as there's got to be a leader and then everybody follows, but I don't feel that's true, because I feel it's all you give a group some time. We could go into family dynamics and Jungianism. Let's not do that today, Patsy. But no, fascinating. What a great way, and it's a way to approach. It's theatrical. Yeah.
Yeah, so applied theatre techniques for social change, which there are so many groups at the moment talking about getting together to,
change the status quo,
change
please.
things. Yeah, so this is just another tool in your toolkit, so go along and find out more about it.
It can only be good for your confidence, can't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Discovering a you that you didn't know you had. Nice one. Can I go?
Yeah.
Thank you. That is rattling off in my head now.
Bet
I'm
it
thinking,
is, yeah.
I might have to go and just check it out. Just a reminder, sweet people, we're going on Friday. The Hastings Rocks Film Fest is on this weekend. If you haven't bought tickets, you can still get them. So the lovely James Rollins was in here a few weeks ago, wasn't he? Sitting here, our first man, our man guest. So pop down, go and see, because some of this is phenomenal. So screening over 60 films made in Hastings, the region and beyond. But they've also got Andrew Cotting as their guest of honour, who's an acclaimed local film director who you know the work of, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know if I do, so I need to go and check that out. So the festival opens with 3 fantastic documentaries shot in Hastings about local actor Patrick Keeley, the Crazy Golf 2024 World Championships, and Hastings' legendary America Ground. If I'd have thought about it, I'd have stuck my America Ground t-shirt on, which I'm very proud of. So that was a bit of a wardrobe malfunction, Patsy, but there we are. Crack on, girlfriend.
Okay, the next one I've got is this thing that I picked up just at my boys' school, but if you don't know about EFT, Education Futures Trust, they do lots of interesting things for families and also for groups of adults and kids. So definitely worth a look, but they are offering from Friday the 25th of April again, every Friday up until the 23rd of May, Forest Fun, which is for 0 to 5-year-olds, so for the littlies. And it just looks like a really, really fun thing to attend, and the more you can get your kids outside and running around, you know, so it's for everybody.
Burn that energy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's at the Secret Garden, which I want to find out a bit more about at the Firs, which is where they're now located. So,
Nice.
and that's 10 till 11:30 Fridays. So sounds fun. Thought I'd just share it in case there are anyone, you know, with either grandkids or littlies themselves they want to.
No, it's great.
Sign up.
Things to do in during the Easter break.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Marvellous. Especially while the weather's like this.
Exactly.
Actually, we could do with a photograph that I took that I'd forgotten to send you, Jamie, of how lucky we are to live here. Sorry, I keep saying it.
That's true. That's true.
And you walk to the front, or you go to up to the green. You know, you only have to walk up country 5 minutes, and you're surrounded by green, and then you've got all the jazzy bits in the middle, you know, where the people are with the buildings, and then you've got the blue space, which is just
gorgeous.
woof, it helps your heart, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Last week's market, so I popped to King's Road. You know, I had to pop down and get, what is it my grandmother used to say? Run my messages, darling.
Yes.
I did remember that lovely my
Yes.
messages, which I used to think, what's message? But they were for an Irish woman, they were doing all your chores.
Yeah.
Your things outside the house.
Yeah.
So, which I loved. So I had to go and run my messages, pick up some bits and pieces. But it was lovely. We stood in King's Road, all going, oh, we're lucky, because the cherry blossom was blowing down King's Road.
Oh, nice.
And everybody felt like it was a bit of a wedding. It was lovely. It was like confetti all blowing along.
Yeah.
It was chilly, I will add, but it was, you can't have everything. But I saw the Mudworks women, the lovely Lizzie McCarran and Chantel Duncan, and selling their wares. I saw Anton, as is his loveliness, the lovely Anton Burton Windsor.
He's the one that runs the market,
He's
right?
the one who runs it, the
voice.
lovely gentle giant, the voice that is Anton.
Your voice of his.
But he was out there, all big smiles. Chris
sweet.
Connolly. So Chris Connolly, if you haven't met, if you met Chris Connolly, you know
Chris
Chris.
Connolly, right.
Him of the beautiful voice, real voice for radio. He's going to come in at some point.
Oh, nice.
But I knew Chris from the Seven Streets projects. We used to go around picking up litter. With our litter pickers and our bags. They still do it.
Oh, do they?
They do it
That's
all
cool.
the time.
Yeah.
They're
I think
so
you mentioned
good.
that one a few episodes
Yeah,
ago.
I might have done. Oh yeah, I was
Remember.
picking up dog poo. This is true. It's what you do. It's what you do.
Yeah, that's good. It's a nice connection.
It's a nice
Apparently,
connection.
in professional podcasts, right? You're supposed to do that. We just
What,
do it
pick up dog
naturally.
poo?
No.
Don't wriggle. Don't wriggle. I can see you wriggling. What are we supposed to be doing?
We're supposed to refer back to like previous episodes.
I know. See,
You
I
just
know
do it
nothing.
absolutely naturally. You're like, by the way, blah, blah.
I
And it
just
comes
go
out.
back to
it's great.
things we've known and loved. But he's got some news coming up, and he said, I'd like to come in and talk about, and it's very exciting actually, I'm really excited. So what he said was, the podcast is giving me a nudge to do something.
Oh,
I'm not going to spoil it, because what he's got to offer is very, very good for the town. Very,
oh my
very
god, that's so exciting.
I know.
Oh, that's
So-
really lovely to
so,
be nudging
yeah,
and inspiring
it's,
people.
I know.
Oh.
So not only do we nudge people to go places, because we've had a lot of that, people saying, I went so-and-so because you said. Get down there.
Yeah.
But to hear that, it's nudging another creative initiative, which is going to be a lovely, lovely thing
Oh, wicked.
that Chris has got. So we talked about it under the awning.
Nice.
I forgot to send you the photograph, which is stupid of me. So I'll send you the
Sorry,
photo.
it's fine.
Send photo. Make note. So I've got a note here saying I'm buffering. Right? Did you know the term buffering? You know when you've got the wheel on you.
The wheel of death. Yeah.
I live. That's my world.
What do
I
you mean?
spend my entire world buffering.
Do you?
Yeah, because I can't find the word, so I'm waiting for the word to float into my lexicon. And all that time I'm going do 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 do.
Yeah.
Or do you remember the old Apple one, which looked like a straw going round? Do you remember when Apple first started? There was a straw. I'm talking before your time.
No,
when they were all
I do.
beautiful
Those little
turquoise
boxy
blue.
ones.
The
Oh,
box
the
one
ones
with
with
the blue.
them.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, not the old ones.
No, but those
Yes.
the first little Macs as such.
Yeah.
And
They're in Zoolander. He's like, we got the files right here, and then he throws the computer down.
oh no,
That bit. Anyway,
I know.
those ones.
We're
What
never
others? Can't
digressing,
remember.
are we? We always have a little digress.
We weren't going to talk about anyway.
Well, I know. But what was so nice was going up and down and seeing everybody and watching things blow down in the wind, which always makes me laugh because it's a bit pratfall. But Patsy, don't laugh at silly things. What am I, 12? But we then went into so Helen's. No, it's not St Helen's. It's St Leonards Market. Thank God I've got notes. And the church market, and I had some of Pat's lovely South African food. We ate together, didn't we?
We
It
did,
was nice.
thank you.
It was
Yes,
nice.
It was a chance meeting.
It was one of those. Yeah, it's weird. These chance meetings we have.
We do.
Yes.
It's a small town. It's nice to bump into people.
It is,
is.
but the weird meetings that we end up having, lovely perchance moments. They're just like little, seasoning. Sister Susie with her spangly clobber.
Oh yeah.
Darling, get down there and get one of those jumpsuits. It's got your name written all over it. They're
The pink
so
and orange
lovely.
one.
The pink and orange
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. I think I might massively clash. It could go really well. But I said, have you got anything green and turquoise? She went, no, just buy an orange one. Okay. In her lovely Northumberland language. Alex Ainsworth was down there as well. Alex does these fab posters. Really clever guy. They're so beautiful. Cheap as chips. So yes, it was a really nice weekend. Actually, it was mad. It was mad. Crack on, my sweet.
Okay, I have the Edible Open Gardens is coming back.
Oh.
Which is Town Grown, an organisation that Anna Locke and others are part of. And so they've got some funding from the Chalk Cliff Trust to be able to open up gardens across the area. And that's going to happen 28th and 29th of June, 10 till 4. So a way off, you can put it in your diary.
Yeah, put it in your diary.
And
don't want to miss it.
Yeah, exactly. But just Anna's worth looking at, the work that she does in permaculture, and I've visited where she used to live, and she had all these little plant pots outside, but they'd have an English pear, an English apple tree. She'd have grafted it and made it from she just knows how to make things grow beautifully in pots and everywhere. Yeah, completely. And so I know she's offering courses and things as well, and she's written a book about permaculture, so she's definitely worth following. And just sounds like a really lovely thing to
Edible
go and
garden. Edible.
Yeah.
What, you can go pick the leaves and eat the leaves?
I'm guessing you can go and the things in the gardens would be things that you can use in cooking or eating or whatever. Yeah,
We
great
need
to
to
go.
go.
Yeah.
She does that at the Knoll. She calls it kitchen garden.
Derville.
Derville. She picks all of her fresh fruit out the garden, all the rhubarb, everything, cooks it straight from the garden.
She's got polytunnels. She's opposite me.
Yes, a lovely
to
garden.
the left.
Nice.
I saw
we'll
her
put a link up
cultivate
for that as well. So.
Yeah, we could do a thing on the Knoll. It'd be great.
Yeah.
We could probably do a podcast on the Knoll, thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lovely Derville.
And,
Yeah.
it's like there are quite a few. I know we're going to talk about it later, but the whole garden thing is quite big in this region. So
We do
it's
love a
worth-
garden.
Yeah.
Which I think I need to get the numbers right, but the average British garden, if you put them all together, is much bigger than any of our national parks we put together.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Don't lay astroturf.
Yeah. That's
Puts
true.
plants out. Sorry, I'm not having a go, but
I agree with you.
it's not good. It heats up the planet too quickly.
So that's it for me until you say your next thing. And then I'll
Oh,
say
darling.
yeah.
Okay. So this weekend that's just gone, woof, I had to say to my husband, like I often do, thank you for the weekend. Thank you, universe. It was so good. I'm very great. I'm very much with the attitude of gratitude when we have lovely time. And I just say to my husband, thank you. He says, you don't have to thank me. I said, no, I do. It's important. So, Mykki Blanco. Now, we put out a shout out for the gig, which is the secret show. So nobody knew. Remember last week, nobody knew where the gig was until you bought your ticket, and then you got, luckily, told where it was. Otherwise you'd be stranded, wouldn't you? Bought a ticket for something, I don't know where it is. Mercatoria Fishing Club, which is Dan DeMar, a lovely, lovely individual, what a lovely man, and the delectable Mike Willis, they had a collaboration to bring Mykki Blanco from London to us. He'd never been here before, but Hastings, he loves us and he wants to come again. So Hastings has been a
They.
You're right, they. I'm so sorry.
It's all
I've got they, them up there.
It's all right.
What a fool.
That's right. It happens.
You're absolutely right. Thank you for that.
That's okay.
So they want to come back because Hastings has been a very generous host. So yeah, but it was we showed up. We didn't know what was in store, but this incredible performer, Mykki, when they hit the stage, I was utterly transfixed. And I looked at my husband, who incidentally thought it was a comedy show. He poor love.
You get surprised.
Poor rag. He said, "Oh, I just thought it was comedy." No dear. He was like, "Wow," and it was very wow. Poet, rapper, storyteller, singer, enchanter is the only way I can put it. I felt the air was electric. It was full of static in the best possible way, and I wrote a few words. I felt moved, sad, mischievous, elated, rebellious, all in tune with Mykki Blanco. So, and the whole hall, loads of people came from London. It was just astonishing, and the hall did not disappoint because Henry Ward Hall has just got the best acoustics. So my lovely young nephew was there, a bit shocked that I was there. Me and my husband, like, why is my aunt and uncle here? This is not their scene. But I said, "Oh, you have no idea." What did it? You said you have no idea what
goes in my brew.
In my brew. I love that. That's excellent.
Yeah.
And I was completely taken aback. You'd have to see them to get it, but I urge you, when Mykki comes back to town, get a ticket. Wow.
Yeah, I had a lot of FOMO over that one.
Yeah.
So, like you were saying that it was LGBTQIA plus
It was,
royalty in the room.
It was LGBTQIA.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
In the room, I met so many beautiful people. The love, oh my gosh, the love. It was wonderfully gushy and incredibly proud, which I love. Bring the pride. So, yeah, and I bumped in. We were picking up a chippy tea for me and my boy and his lovely girlfriend yesterday, to have tea with us yesterday. And Dan DeMar was in the Kings Road chippy, great chippy by the way. Little shout out. And he said, "I'm still recovering in the best possible way because it was so good." So I urge you, go and check out the brilliance that is Mykki Blanco. Fantastic. If you're in London, check him out. Check them out. Check them out.
Absolutely. Yeah, gutted about that. I've been recovering from a cold, so that's why I've been a little bit cocooned. Yeah, so, but you know, we can't do it all. This is the thing. And you were also saying before we started recording that the thing is, it all seems to be happening here now, which is like,
I know.
You know, I remember like living in London, I was missing things all the time, but that was kind of excusable because. Yeah. And then I do remember moving here and going, you know what, like it's cool because I won't miss stuff because you know there's like one or two things happening, but now it's just like. No. Yeah, it's just so much like you're gonna miss.
It's over.
Stuff.
Excuse me. Yes, here she goes. Little body
I swear on the podcast.
You do.
Patsy doesn't.
Patsy's
in
a
real
potty
life.
mouth. In real life, I'm a shocker. But
it's the other way around.
It is the other way around. It brings out a naughty corner.
It does.
But there's so much happens that I find. Behave yourself. No giggling. I find that there's so much. I look at my husband and say, "Do you know, I'm just overwhelmed with how much is going on. I'm going to have to stay at home." So I stay at home because I'm overwhelmed.
Well, sometimes you stay at home, but you do your epic weekends, don't you?
Yeah, but even a mooch down the seafront can get me into terrible trouble. In the best possible way. Because
when you're ganging.
When I'm ganging, when I'm having a gange.
Having a gange.
No, really, thank you. Bring back the gange.
Bring back the gange. Yeah. What have I got here? Hastings project. Oh yeah. So there was something that I just, floated across when I was looking on Facebook. 20th of June. I haven't written anything else down about it. No, I have. It's Hastings. I haven't written much. Hastings Kelp project. She's just going to reach her phone.
Kelp.
Yeah. So, do you know what kelp is?
Yes, it's the green stuff you get in the sea.
It's the good green stuff, isn't it? Yeah. I learnt about it from watching Octonauts with my son.
That's seaweed,
that is
isn't it?
my
Seaweed is
education. Yeah. It's Do you know? Have you watched that?
Octonauts,
Yeah, there was a time when I didn't know what that was, and I kind of missed that time. But never mind.
Yeah, we've been through the Octonauts.
Yeah, God.
What's an octonaut?
It's a cartoon for kids that teach them about what's going on in the sea, and there's always different sea creatures that they learn about in each episode. It's actually quite good.
It's
My
quite
kids
good.
would have loved it.
It's
So it's
really good.
current. Is it current?
Kind of current, yeah, it's still on. Yeah.
Octonauts.
And there's a polar bear called Captain Barnacles who, gets involved.
Did he have them on his bottom?
No, he didn't. Not that you can see
Not that you
anyway.
can
They're
see.
very like clean line, like sweet. There's a rabbit that's also a engineer called Tweak, I think.
I don't know all the names. I'm afraid.
Why not?
I
Terrible
haven't
dad.
seen it for a while.
A friend of ours was almost the voice for one of them, which was quite exciting to me when I knew what the Octonauts were. But yeah, there was a time I didn't know. You might, it might come into your life at some point. But yes, kelp.
Kelp.
So they talk about kelp forests and how important they are for the sea and biodiversity. And yeah, I do get my education from cartoons. So 20th of June, there's nothing more than that on here. Okay, fine. Kayak for kelp, rather. Kayak for kelp. See what they did there?
Kayak for kelp.
Yes. Raising awareness and funds to protect our stunning coastline.
Yeah.
So this is what the Hastings Kelp project is all about, and they are based here. They're trying to protect the 4.5 miles of unspoiled,
I know about
cliff-fronted wildlife and shingle, and they want to make a sanctuary for the carbon sequesteringness of kelp, which is what it does. It basically, it's just a fantastic.
They do that in
Thank you.
Southampton. They do it in Dorset along the, what do they call that? I can't remember what. It's Dinosaur Coast.
Jurassic.
Jurassic Coast,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Mhm.
I knew it had a dinosaur in it somewhere.
Yeah.
So there's lots of initiatives for kelp initiatives. So it's like absolutely, it's a really important biosystem.
Yeah.
I said biosystem.
Biosystem, exactly.
Look at me, I could be you. Yeah.
So you can
awesome.
follow the Hastings Kelp project on Instagram, and I think it's a really great thing. And watch the Octonauts if you like. It does educate you.
No. The reason it does educate you is because, as they knew in the BBC when they started, children are a very, very discerning bunch when it comes to picking good stuff.
True.
And they will switch off if it's not good. So the work that has to go into, you can feed adults any old rubbish. You cannot feed children rubbish; they won't take it.
Yeah, you're right.
They just, any more than they sit in their high chair and go, I'm not eating that. They won't eat it with their eyes either. So they're
totally
very
unfiltered.
It
It's
has to
good.
be good. It has to be good quality, and it makes them ask questions, which is important.
Yeah.
You start off. Come on, mummy. Yes, dear. Not what now? No. But seriously, ask the questions. I love it. Very briefly, I'm just going to add a little thing and then go on to another big thing. There's a new studio to hire in the Trinity Triangle. We're going to put the email address down at the bottom. If you can remember it, americagroundstudios@gmail.com to book an appointment to view it. Go and see it. So when these come up, they're like hen's teeth, but it's out there. And hen's teeth, because hens don't have teeth, I've got to explain that for you. I've never seen a hen with a teeth. That'd be rare, wouldn't it? But go check it out. So I'm going to swiftly move into Brian McNeilly's GoFundMe for the Samaritans.
Nice.
Brian McNeilly, the picture will be up here. What a lovely soul. Bit of a legend. Brian's Hawaiian shirt collection is astonishing. It's immense. He had a stroke, bless him, in 2018, and they really didn't think he was going to recover, but he did. But it's left him struggling with some parts of his mobility, love his heart. But he's doing a half marathon in June by Lapping Bottle Alley.
Oh wow.
Using a stick. So he starts at 7 o'clock in the morning. He reckons it will take him between 10 and 12 hours. He's raised money before, Brian. We'll put the fundraiser, the GoFundMe link underneath. He's raised money before for the people that helped him with his rehabilitation. Him and the lovely Harry Holmes, who's a great, anyone who knows Harry Holmes, another ginger, it's got to happen. Use this wonderful place, Avanti ABI, where they rehabilitate after strokes and brain damage. But so he's done lots of work out there, Brian. He's been on bikes, rowing machines, bikes outside the... it was at the Trader, I think it was the Trader. There he is in the hot day sun and everyone, come on Brian. But that was years ago, not long after he actually came out of the hospital. But he's a sweet, sweet guy. He has this wonderful positive, he calls it PMA, my positive mental attitude.
Nice, yeah.
So, and as the Samaritans are very close to his heart because of the struggle that people have every day, and that they don't think of the Samaritans, you don't think of them, but they need money. So he's got a £700 goal. It was 5, then it was 6, now it's 7.
Nice.
He's got 600 of that 700. So can we get him over the line? So and go and do a lap with him. Actually, I'm going to go and do a lap bot lane with him.
Yeah.
And because you keep him going and you can walk along and have a chat. But he's a dear, dear, dear sweet guy. So good on you, Brian. Bless your socks.
Brian.
Proper institution.
I want to see Brian's Hawaiians.
Brian's Hawaiians.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that sounds like
there
a
may
good
well
thing
be
to...
wardrobe changes on the day.
Oh, good. I should hope so.
Yeah. It might have to be it might have to be a deal breaker. It might have to be a thing. Brian, bring shirts.
Yeah, bring shirts.
Yes, I know.
Bring yourself.
He's a sweetie. Crack on, girl.
Okay. So last week I did mention that I might be talking about Bob Mazzer, Kim Stallwood and the Silverhill Press. So I wanted to kind of cover that. There are bits, I had a little chat with Richard De Pesando, who was the designer for Silverhill Press.
Another legend.
Yeah, another legend in the town. And we had a good old chat. Turns out, so where we're based here, we're on Archery Road. Opposite is what used to be the Hastings Art College site. And Richard went in, he was a teacher there, and he went in on like the last day, just before the bulldozers came in, and took photographs of everything. And that's the sort of thing that I love. I've ordered a book of his from his publishing house, which he's set up, which is called, what's it called? It's gone out of my head. It's called Ambitious Outsiders. And it's just lovely. It hasn't come through yet, so I'll talk about that when I get it through. Silverhill Press, I've worked with a little bit in the past. This is Bob Mazzer's book from
Based in Silverhill?
Based in Silverhill, possibly. I mean, it's actually not functioning at the minute. Because of lack of funds, it was a lot of self-funded projects where the artists, as you know, we've spoken about before with various artists themselves, you know, you have to self-fund quite a lot. Publishing a book itself is expensive. The materials are expensive. Getting it edited is expensive, you know. And so at the minute it's on hold, but it's worth a visit to the website for Silverhill Press because they've just got so many legends from our town just kind of listed here. So Pete Quinnell being one, Caitlin Locke, Bronwyn Griffith, Nigel Green, Alexander Brattel. You know, the list goes on of who's actually down here as really interesting and distinguished artists in their own right. And they're all living and, you know, breathing here. So Joe Israel's another, and Amanda Jobson as well. It's just really, really fantastic. And so yeah, I had a little chat with Richard, who's based in, or he's been here with connections to Hastings for 35 years. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm running through this as I go, but even just the front cover here, this is Bob's work, it says so much about St Leonards and Hastings, and it's like, just the kind of the texture and the feeling for who's there. Have a little look.
It's
through.
wonderfully raw though, isn't it? Oh, this is a very famous picture.
And it's I've seen it on his site in colour. I don't want to share too much of the visuals because I think that's you know it's for people to go and look at that for themselves. It's his work. And if we can, you know, find a way to get these reprinted. Most of them, when you go on the site, some of them they've still got stock. Most of them are out of stock at the minute. But yeah, Bob himself, I took a picture of at the Observer Building opening the first time round when they were doing all the arty stuff with Jeff Kirby and others, you know, And there was a huge art opening and kind of jazzy music going on, and this guy who looked so unassuming in this big kind of trench coat.
Yes.
He was leaning right back, and he like totally in his power. So
he becomes, the good thing about Bob Mazzer is he becomes wallpaper.
Yeah.
And he does that intentionally. I met him at the museum.
Oh, did you?
And someone said, you know, that is over there. And I said, no. And he said, Bob Mazzer. I went, I've got fangirl thing going on.
Yeah.
But he just walks around like a really unassuming guy. And by doing that, you don't create anything, but you're there for the perfect shot.
Yeah.
And he always is. Have a chat with him, see if he'll come
I'd
on.
like to, I'd like to.
Because we'd
I've
love
put
to
the
have
word
him on here.
to Richard, so we'll see what Bob says.
Yeah.
I mean, just like flicking through here, it's the energy of St Leonards, but in a really interestingly, and Hastings, gritty way and a loving way, and just the portraits that he's got are so challenging and affectionate. The whole thing, you know how a picture can, tell 1,000 words, or however the phrase goes.
And how, it's so true.
It really is, and it's a joy to hold a book in your hand and look at the prints actually as well. In this digital age,
It is.
I asked Richard about that. I said, "Do you think print's dead?" He said, "No."
Absolutely not.
No way.
Actually, that coming back to that, my husband's a graphic designer, the lovely Rakesh at home, Mr. Solanki.
Yeah.
And he's been approached by people because he said, "Oh, I'm going to have to change what I do because his skill is in print.
Yeah.
He can tell the language. He can convert what somebody wants digitally into something you can have in real books and magazines." And he's started to pick up a lot of work from people saying, "We're going back." So like young people are saying, "Don't need a smartphone. I want a dumb phone. I want someone to contact me. I want to be able to text somebody, but I don't need all that noise as well."
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I want like, if you can get in here and see the lovely Get Hastings magazine, because we've got this legend coming in today as our guest.
That's right.
The lovely Glenn Veness. This is why Get Hastings does well, because people want to hold something and look at something and take their time.
Yeah.
So no,
It's the
print
haptic thing,
Print is not dead.
No, definitely not. And he was. It was interesting talking around as well. I'm sure you've had conversations like this with Rack about those ancient arts of typesetting and the care that you need to take over the typography, the graphics, the layout, the storytelling. Actually, is what he was talking about as well, Richard, and how. He told me this film that I need to watch about, it wasn't Devil Wears Prada, but one about the same woman, Anna De Winter. And she Anna Winter, thank you, not De Winter, goes into, she does a 15-minute thing, but she tears down half of the beautiful shoot that's on the wall, and what's left is what makes sense. And it's galling to those artists and creatives and people in the room who've spent, hours on the work, but you need that editor.
You do.
The kind of the editor eye and also the craft and the storytelling that's involved in putting a book together. It's just something I find really fascinating. So it was very enjoyable to talk to Richard. Thanks for that, Richard. We'll share the links, and I'll talk about Kim after you've said some stuff, because I've spoken for quite a while now.
Sure. No, it's great. It's fascinating, and for all the new people who are coming who have got a book in them. Think about Silverhill Press.
Yeah, Silverhill Press, if not that, then it's just get in touch with Richard with Ambitious Outsiders.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Silverhill. I don't know if they're actually currently operating. I think it's on a bit of a hiatus.
Then speak to Richard.
But Richard will be the person.
Yeah, because he's an absolute legend in his own lifetime. Yeah, definitely, or ours, in fact. We're lucky to have him. Briefly. So I had a very extraordinary experience, dear reader, listener, viewer. I had my tarot cards done. It was fascinating. I've had it done many times before, but not for a very long time. I used to be really into it. And this wonderful guy who's going to be Martin Knapp, who is tarotpath.com. is going to be in the Art on the Park function, the big one that they're doing on Saturday the 19th.
Oh yeah.
Arts on Prescription, Art in the Park. So along with the usual things you'll see at an Art in the Park gig, you know, which is Punch and Judy, Easter bonnets for the parade. There'll be an Easter bunny there, the punk choir, crafts, jewellery and ukuleles. That's a ukulele, mine by the way. I have one that is still gathering dust on top of my wardrobe. I will at some point make an effort to learn it.
Great.
But I can't do a G. Trying to find a G, it's just hard. Anyway, so Martin did a spread on, and he's going to be there. He's going to, for me, the precision was extraordinary. So precise, he knows his stuff. And in a world full of charlatans, when you come across a real deal, grab them. So I'll put Martin's details, so it's tarotpath.com, tarotpathwork, I beg your pardon, .com. But it's absolutely fascinating to have that. But he's going to do 20 minutes for 20 quid, and the money goes to Art in the Park. So Martin doesn't get any money, it's all donations. So go along and see him, go and queue up, because there will be a queue, trust me. He's a bit of a legend.
Did you discover something you didn't know?
Let's put it this way, I did a kind of what's going on in the world spread. Woof. Not that we don't know already with the news, but it's what's, you know, but it was fascinating.
What's bubbling underneath?
Absolutely, what's bubbling underneath.
Yeah.
And also why, what came out of that was why things like we're doing here, it's suddenly got very dark outside, isn't it?
I know, yeah.
Sorry, a bee.
I felt that was
Because our faces are quite bright, aren't they? It's in a world where it feels like there's an awful lot of things being very challenging. Local initiatives that spread joy. This came up really heavily.
Damn right.
Everybody, get on with your gardening, get on with your conservation, get on with your walks, get on with your music.
Yep.
Keep doing those things, because the world is going to keep going. It's going to keep going, and the more lights, I want to liken it to, we're like little fairy lights all strung together. That came out of that.
Oh really?
Yeah, and I thought that was really nice.
Yeah.
So if you think that, oh, fairy lights aren't very bright, you put a big old storm of fairy lights together, it creates that.
Well, it's like the Indra's web thing. Is it Indra?
Go on.
There's a Indian story about a web of stars, basically, that are all connected, and it sort of goes into ideas of fractals and that basically all those tiny little blinking stars. I can't remember the story now.
Yeah.
But that that's what holds everything together.
Yes.
So it's those tiny little
bits
of joy and wonder that do shine bright.
No, they do, and the thing is that we're all linked together with a flex.
Yeah, true. There is.
And that flex is, so even though they look independent, all of these little lights, they're all joined together in a flex. And it came up in this tarot reading. It was absolutely fascinating. Not in the least bit woo-woo. It was just really practical and pragmatic and foundational stuff. It was very, very sensible. So I loved it. Thank you, Martin. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah. Nice. Go along and see him at the Art in the Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed the joy thing. I mean, that's, like last year, there was Black Joy through playing the race card that showed at the museum. There was a big event with the Museums Association nationally called the Joy of Museums, and our storytelling festival last year, I'm pretty sure, had joy in the title as well. So it is something that people are
bringing
to the fore, which is really great.
It doesn't mean you have to be joyful. It means just being in a community and loving the community for what it has to offer, and bringing something to the community. People often say to me, "Oh, I'm coming to Hastings. I'm thinking of moving here. What do you bring?"
Yeah.
And they what do you mean?
What's coming with you?
What do you bring? What is coming with you? Yeah, exactly.
That's nice.
What is your? It's not all about what you can get out of something. What are you adding? Where's your bonus? Your value added? Yeah. Bring it.
I was going to ask you how the sewing spot has been going since they opened.
Oh, so the sewing spot. You're talking about Unzipped?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will. So I'm going to come slightly out of sync, which is going to throw us out afterwards. If you're going to
Sorry,
go,
I didn't
if you,
realise it was
no,
on the
if you're
list.
going to go there, that's fine. I popped in to the lovely Ness Newman's Unzipped shop and coffee studio and coffee shop, which is clever. If you open a business which has a creative thing, have a coffee shop, because the coffee will invariably pay the rent if you do
crazy,
good
isn't
coffee. It's
Crazy but true.
I missed a trick years ago which I should have used actually when
Cowboy boots and coffee.
Cowboy boots and coffee
It's a name
should have
for a
been
shop.
cowboy boots and
Oh my
thank
god.
you. But it wasn't.
Do that?
And they all turned up for the coffee, and they all turned up for the coffee. Endless cups of free coffee, and to listen to really good country music and the good crack, you know, like we just.
You didn't
chatted.
charge for your coffee?
I didn't charge for it.
Oh my god.
I know.
I'd have been down there. No, but
I mean,
still.
as my kids would go, you know, they wouldn't now. They're older, but yeah, it's but what Vanessa's got going there is lovely. You can hire the what are they called? You can hire the I'm seeing them sewing machines. Come on, Patsy.
Oh, nice.
And she does these wonderful courses for beginners, for you know, improvers and so on. But fantastic. While I was there, the lovely Graham Smith was there. Now, that's a very unassuming name, but when you see his picture come up, Allspark Hypnotherapy, there's nothing unassuming about Graham Smith. He's a hypnotherapist, Allspark Hypnotherapy. And he was there with his lovely partner Kirsten and their wee dog.
Oh yes.
And we were chatting, and it reminded me of the good work that Graham does. So he's not going to be available. He's just adopted a new rescue dog, so he's not available for the next week or two. I think it's 2 weeks. But check him out, and the link's going to be underneath.
So he does hypnotherapy.
He does hypnotherapy.
What kind of things can he?
What
help
does
with?
he help with? I have a list.
Of course you do.
Because I'm out of sync now,
Yeah, sorry, I just
dear
threw-
reader.
I dropped the
Because
cards
no,
for
but
you.
it was nice. We segue, don't we?
We do segue.
So, anxiety, depression, PTSD, weight loss, phobias, ADHD, and addiction. So, he said, including not limited to. I love that phrase.
Yeah, that's
including not limited to.
Yeah.
So, but what he's particularly good at is people who want to stop smoking.
Oh really?
And that's done in one session.
Kick the habit, man.
You can kick the habit in one
Yeah.
session. So if you're struggling with vaping or smoking, go to Graham. So, but the rest of it takes a bank of therapy. Well worth having. I went to Graham and he was fascinating and kind, and because he started doing this. I can add this because he trained in solution focused therapy at the CPHD in Bristol. The reason being was because he was an alcoholic.
Okay.
And it helped him.
Yeah.
And now he's dry as a bone. So
And he's helping everyone else.
He's helping everyone
Good on
else.
him. Yeah.
So he's very honest about his journey to become a hypnotherapist. Lovely. Looks like a Viking, but he's a Viking. He is a
Wicked.
Viking. But what a superman. Really superhuman. Yeah.
Very
so
good.
I will
Something
remember
just
not to
blipped.
repeat that one again.
Oh, that's right. Something just bleeped. Is that a problem?
No.
Okay.
We're all good.
We're all good. Don't
We're
mind the bleeps.
bleeping.
Don't mind
but
bleeping.
We're good.
Yeah, I've got a friend who needs to look at driving and anxiety, so maybe I could pass them that way.
Absolutely.
Okay,
I can
cool.
see that. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Do it. What you got, girlfriend?
Next instalment of my updates is over to Kim, who is Kim Stallwood, based in the old bakers at Rock House. So I was a little tenant of Rock House for a while there, and was a neighbour of Kim's, and he has this incredible library. So he is a campaigner for animal rights, and he's a very staunch vegan. He lives and walks the walk and talks the talk, and is incredibly well regarded. And he lives in our town, lives in the old town, and is a great person to, I don't know, he's got this kind of wise look and a slightly wry look as well when he looks at you. But he is currently, and has been for a while, working on a story about Topsy, who is an elephant from the 1800s, I think. It was a long time ago. This is a biography about Topsy. So I've been supporting his project through Patreon for some time, and this is a little postcard from him, January 2024, and it asks you about who are the key figures behind the story of Topsy the Elephant, which I will tell you more about. So this is a bit of a trigger warning for anyone. It is about animal cruelty. So it is 150 years since Topsy's birth in 2025, and I don't think, from what I'm gathering, there was anything particularly wrong with how Topsy behaved, but what happened was Topsy got turned into a spectacle and was electrocuted live on stage, which is horrendous. And the story here follows that with various kind of a graphic novel feel that yeah, I know. Sorry, it's a hard story.
We'll have to put a warning underneath that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we can cut this if you think it's too much.
No, I don't.
But this is, yeah, I did say trigger warning for a reason. This is a big deal, and so it goes through the different people who were involved in this crime, really, and Richard did the graphics for it. It's a story. Yeah, I've been supporting Kim through this, just in, you know, like a small bit of his story through the Patreon. You pay a certain amount of money and it supports him to be able to explore the story more. And it's such an important story to tell because of how horrendous it was, and because of how much things have moved on since then in terms of our understanding of the more than human world, as people put it. And
when did it happen?
So let me see. I knew you'd ask that. It was. Let me look.
Did you say it's 150 years ago?
150 years is when she was born. Yeah.
Right.
So this was 1902.
Right.
Throngs come to see Tops.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a story that you've never heard about. I'm thinking about writing a poem about it because it sort of feels.
This was at a time, though.
Yeah.
I say though, and I don't mean that as an excuse. This was at a time when lots of things were put in cages and laughed at, and people paid money for that because that was their form of entertainment, and it was horrendous and horrific.
Yeah.
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 Oh God.
I know, it's a shocking story, and then Richard told me a bit more about it, which I've not gone into myself yet because I'm kind of following it through the Patreon and through little bits. But yeah, this is about Kim as well. So this first one of meeting Topsy and how Kim got to encounter the story. As a child growing up in Britain in the 1950s and 60s, my parents took me and my sister Wendy to the circus. And then who was Topsy? A story begins with the capture of a baby female elephant in Southeast Asia in 1875. Forcibly separated from her natural family, she is abducted and made to make months-long land and sea journey to Hamburg in Germany. And so it's really following all of this, and then about Kim Stallwood. So here he is, wonderful man. And this is saying what he's about. So an independent animal rights author, scholar and curator with almost 50 years of personal commitment as a vegan and decades of professional experience in leadership positions with some of the world's leading animal rights organisations. So yeah, here in this town that we live in is someone who is making huge waves across this really important area. This is one of his projects. He's written another book called Raw, which is all about his kind of manifesto and modus operandi, I can't speak now, and how he does what he does. But he really is somebody who walks, lives and breathes his passion and his, you know, for the good of those who can't speak, you know, and who couldn't speak. So
exactly.
There's Kim again. And I think some of his library that was over in Rock House is now housed at the British Library. And yeah, this is a story that is difficult but also important to
history is
to
difficult.
follow. Yeah, history is really difficult.
And it should be.
Yeah.
And we should look at it and not blanch. I
Mm.
mean, the idea that you could hurt anything that was defenceless appalls me. But the point of people like Kim is to raise awareness.
Yeah.
And
So
it's
again, I
important.
spoke with Richard about what it was like to be the graphic designer on this, and he said that some people have been saying, why haven't you been showing the images themselves? Well, that plays into the very fact of almost what the whole story points towards is how do you give respect and decency back to this animal when it has been held up in such a way for so long that is, you know, the opposite of that. So by abstracting the imagery and not referring to it, actually it's a stronger story.
Yeah.
And that's a complete design choice, which I really support. So if you'd like to follow the story, you can. And I just wanted to say, massive props to Kim and to Richard and to the team behind this for bringing the story to us, because it's an incredibly important one.
Yeah, we learn from history, and otherwise it repeats.
Yeah.
Why would you want that?
Yeah. So there you are. I wondered whether or not to bring it to the podcast, but I thought, you know what, this is too important not to. And,
no, absolutely.
We're not going to skip over.
No, but this is part
subjects.
of part of being in a community is that you cover everyone, and I think it's important to do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, props to him. Quick shout out, Louise Driscoll got in touch from the Velvet Rays, R-A-Y-S, Rays, not R-A-I-S-E, the Velvet Rays. So she said, can you give us a shout out? And I said, of course, darling. She's at Barnaby's with her fellow musicians as a three-piece, and Barnaby's on the 19th at 8 o'clock. Indie rock, folk and pop melodies, influences PJ Harvey, Jack White, and Kate Bush. Now, so there'll be links underneath to the lovely Barnaby. I was actually in there on Saturday.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, after I saw Mykki Blanco, I popped in, and Glenn was sitting there, Glenn Veness, who's going to be with us in a bit.
Nice.
And John Stade was there doing his country and rock and roll set, which was nice.
Oh, lovely.
There's lots of exciting news on that front. I can't tell you yet, but there is. What we're going to get as a band in town. Woo-hoo. But Kate Bush, we will feature.
Yes, I wondered if
we
you were going
will
to mention
feature
that.
Joanna Poulton and her partners in crime doing the
Wuthering Hastings.
Wuthering Hastings.
Yes.
So we've got that coming up.
I kind of want to learn the thing. They put up the first dance move for it.
She started the first dance move already. So everyone dressed in red. You're going to get on the West Hill. They're just going to do it and film it. So it's going to be full of women in red dresses and men. Anyone.
Right. 31st of August.
Yeah,
so
wear a red frock and do the moves. And as you, it's clear, it's me, Kathy, come on. So cool. But great. And I'm not mocking it. I just really want to learn it. But I'll be the one who'll be going the other left.
Oh, me
you
too.
can bet
Totally.
your life. That's it, the other left. Oh yeah. Sorry. So Velvet Rays, check them out. Barnaby's on the 19th at 8 o'clock. Go and see them. Go and support Louise. We like to support our local bands.
Yes, excellent.
Really
cool.
I have.
What have you got?
I have two left.
Okay.
So I'm nosy, as we know, and I was bimbling along like I do along the seafront, and I bumped into these two gentlemen called Rashid and Graham, who are the conservation part of the TCV, the conservation volunteers.
Ooh.
And they, as I walked towards them, that more people were gathering. So I was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" You know me, come check it out. And last week we did walks, didn't we? We did the Fisherman's Museum walk,
Yes.
and we did the Old Town walk. And so these guys, bless their hearts, they're part of a volunteering community, like it says in the name, you know, conservation volunteers. Because I knew the conservation volunteers as the people that cleared the woodland and did the bracken and things like that. They do other things. So they do a walking club. So Hastings, so yesterday, so on Mondays, okay, Patsy, stop. Be sequential. Mondays, they at the Old Town at the Stade at 2 o'clock. It's free, by the way. Tuesdays on the prom under the clock on the promenade, that famous little clock.
Oh yes,
opposite
the clock.
Boudoir.
Yes,
Yes.
nice to talk
Not Boudoir, Patsy. Bonjour.
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 Oui.
Thank you.
Bonjour.
Not Boudoir. They'd be standing outside the co-op, wouldn't they, waiting for waiting for the
Where's the
walking
clock?
bus. Excuse I. So Tuesdays at 11 o'clock at the clock on the prom. Wednesdays in Alexandra Park by the Rangers office, easy for me to say, which is opposite the bandstand at 10:30 in the morning. So they're trained community volunteers. So it's good for mental health, it's good for physical health, it's good for confidence and social. So who I met yesterday, was it yesterday? The day before? I met Roy and Yolanda, who are a couple. They never miss it, and Roy also leads it sometimes.
Nice.
And then I met Brenda, who, bless her heart, she said, I was recently widowed and it's a bit of a lifesaver for me to come along and do this. And I think it really touched me.
Yeah, that's really
when
good.
you lose your person and to go along and just natter with the other like-minded folk, and you just don't know who's going to
Good
join
for her
it.
for stepping into that.
But
That's amazing.
exactly that, and I really felt for that. What a lovely provision.
Yeah.
So if you go in, the details will be on the bottom, and go in and check it out. It's a lovely, lovely thing. I thought, what a smashing, standing there in their high vis jackets. I thought it was lovely. Yeah.
Really sweet. You know what? I found another one.
Go on then, because I've got one more.
Okay. So, Home Live Art got in touch about
marvellous.
Lucy and Friends, which is something that's coming up at the White Rock Theatre Studio on the Thursday, the 24th of April.
Yeah.
And basically, it just sounds really interesting. It's part of this Giddy Up programme of activities that they're doing, which is bringing daring performance from LGBTQ plus artists to the stages of Hastings.
Excellent.
Queer art at heart, so welcoming to all. So there's a full Giddy Up lineup that you can look at, but this in particular is Lucy, who is a taboo-busting performance artist and comedian, and it sounds like it's going to be an absolutely spectacular cabaret experience. I think I've mentioned before, but I'm really enjoying what the White Rock Theatre is doing with their studio space. I think they've turned it around into something that feels quite cosy.
It does.
And also a bit edgy somehow.
It does.
So, and the acoustics work quite well in there.
They do.
So,
They've got all the black. They've decked it out in black, and they've got all the black curtains.
They have,
and they shut off bits. It's
yeah,
really
they do, and it just seems to work now, which is really lovely, because it is one of our mainstays of basically theatre and
It feels like a studio.
performance. Yeah, it
It
does.
doesn't feel like an extra space downstairs, which is what it always used to feel
Yeah,
like.
exactly. You're right. Yeah,
That
totally.
odd bit,
Yeah. So really excited to hear about Lucy and Friends coming to town. Lucy McCormick. So do get along to that. It looks like there are still tickets, which is really good, because often when I hear about these things, as we mentioned, they're already sold out. So I clicked on it to check. I was like, it's not sold out.
It's
so,
not sold out. Have you bought a ticket?
No, I need to work out a babysitter.
Do
and
that.
Then,
Buy the ticket and the babysitter will come.
The babysitter will appear.
We always used to say that when the kids were
that's
little.
a good idea.
If we buy a ticket for this, the babysitter will arrive.
Fantastic, yeah.
All right,
You're right,
do
yeah.
that.
You commit, right?
Make a
and then
note.
it's there, yeah.
Make a note.
Okay,
Scribble
I'll
it
make
down.
a note. Make a note.
On your what is it called? Your emotional support pad.
Yeah, my emotional support pad. It's actually got stuff in it this week.
I've got an emotional support laptop actually, and it's like which I speak nonsense into. That sounds lovely, darling. Yeah, I love that. I love the studio. I think it's great downstairs. It's just
yeah,
it's very conducive.
it is
Very
conducive to a good night out.
Thank you, Plymouth. I can't remember what they're called.
Trust,
Plymouth,
Trust.
something like that. Yeah. So my last thing is so on my walk yesterday with my husband. That's recorded. Don't shut that down.
I just shut it and it was recording.
Is it still recording?
I'll just check.
Are you still uttering?
I don't know if I'm uttering.
Oh no!
What am I even doing?
Kath.
You're uttering, I'm uttering.
I'm uttering, you're uttering.
Go on.
So I met local born and bred on the West Hill. The lovely, you good?
Like we're getting
Yay! Rescued, way!
Sound.
You tell we're not professional. The lovely Dan. What a smasher! Now Dan is Holy Mackerel. What a great name!
Oh yeah.
Holy Mackerel.
Mackerel.
He is. So he was setting up a seafood bar, and at Goat Ledge, and it was sunny and it was lovely, And as he put it out, I just stood there and went, oh, what is this? I was all over it. And you know me, I love my food. He's a fishmonger, a proper fishmonger in every sense of the word. He's also been a fisherman during COVID. He went out on the boats because you could. But he's based in Battle High Street. There was a word just got stuck there. I had to spit it out. And he's got an oyster bar, and he's a small plates guy. But he sells proper big fish. You know, what you'd see in a fishmonger, beautifully set out. But what he did yesterday, he said, "I'm checking it out and seeing what happens." And I said, "Well, why here?" And he said, "Because I supply Goat Ledge with their fish. Have you ever had a sunrise?"
Oh yeah, yeah, I love it. Yeah.
From Goat Ledge.
Yeah, so
which
good.
is a beautiful piece of fish with a chilli jam
Delish.
in a bun, not to be eaten in front of a prospective new date.
No one really, don't eat it in front
It's
of
a bit like spag bol, because spag bol goes like that. It whips around your face as you're eating it.
It just falls out, but
It
it's
falls
so
out,
tender and so
and you end up going, "Oh no, I look terrible."
Yeah.
I'm aware that Glenn's going to walk through the door any minute now if he's on
Probably
time.
will. Gives a buzz.
Could you get the door if that's
I'll
the
get
case?
that.
You can do that, can't you?
Yeah,
Bless
yeah.
your heart.
I
You
need to
might-
switch off my mic. if I
Oh,
remember.
hang on a minute. Let me just
Oh,
check my phone.
check your phone.
No, he hasn't been in touch.
Cool.
Anyway, so so when you eat a sunrise, you've got egg yolk and chili jam and everything like round your
Falling
chops.
around,
It's
yeah.
and it's very sticky, but it's so good. So he supplies their fish. But what he had yesterday, he opened this wonderful, cool, stand, refrigerated stand.
Yeah.
And I stood there and I had a little foodgasm.
Did you know?
I did. Because the fish was absolute. I have to eat this because I am having a foodgasm. Anyway, so I said, "Can I have, please?" So I had cockles and prawns and crayfish. Rack had crevette, which are the big prawns.
Yes.
And he had the seafood salad, and all you could hear from us as people were gathering round was it was extraordinary. I took some smoked salmon pate, as we like to call it in the house, home for tonight's tea.
Lovely.
But proper chef's kiss from Dan.
It looked
Lovely
stunning.
guy.
And that day yesterday,
It's
gorgeous.
but the food. So he's a chef. He's been a chef. He's a wholesaler, and a fishmonger, and lots of other things. He's very, very good at what he does. But I couldn't get over how delicious that fish was. So good. I said, "You'll be running out." People were eating oysters. They were coming up and eating oysters. One guy he said, "I'll have a dressed crab and give me a couple of oysters to take away." And he shucks them in front of you. And Rack said, we're both oyster virgins, so we don't...
Did you have one then?
Not yet, but I will.
Okay.
And he said, "No, I'll dress it and
That's
everything." And I went, "Oh, lovely. Roll, mops, anchovies." If you're a fishy person, go. So in the holiday times, he's there 10 till 3, except on Mondays.
At Goat Ledge.
At Goat Ledge. So he's opposite. So where Goat Ledge takes up all that, he's got a slot opposite.
Okay.
In term time, he's Fridays to Sundays 10 till 3. Go and buy some of his fish. It is just
Nice.
mind-blowingly delicious.
On the seafront, right? We're not talking about opposite, like over on the other side of the road.
No, he's directly opposite. So
Okay.
he's got the beach on his back.
Oh, how lovely.
He's leaning up against the railings that make the fantastic
He's got a beach
vista.
on his back.
He's got he had his kids with him yesterday. And his
Jamie,
mum.
we've not heard much from you today. Are you okay?
No.
I've got a couple of things.
Oh, go for it, darling.
All right. Well, I went to the opening yesterday of this new, which is going to be like a small theatre and very eclectic, if that's the right word.
Yeah.
Art, which is at in St Andrew's Mews.
Sweet.
It was the Curious Museum, but it's disappeared.
Oh,
And now Dean Steltham, I think it's how you pronounce his name, and a guy called Patrick Loynes has taken it over, and they're going to be putting on bands there. They're going to be putting on plays there. There's going to be the punk poetry once a month, last Sunday of every month.
Sweet.
It's going to be up for hire. It's going to be a bar. It's an amazing sort of place.
Do you want to come here?
Space.
Should we do the thing?
Oh
Got
yes,
it.
what
Yeah, do the thing.
Let's do the thing. Let me just turn it off and turn it on again. That's what the thing was.
Oh, is that what the thing was?
All right.
Yeah, you're back. Yes, it's back. It's back. My arm's aching.
How would you hear me?
We've gone over an hour, but that's all right. I'll try and make it quick.
Yeah.
So this is the company is called Me You, I believe.
Okay.
MUHQ.
Me UHQ, that's right.
Yeah.
And so they're absolutely over the moon that they're going to get in there.
Yeah.
And one of the plans is to try and discover a band. So they want to put lots of gigs on, get lots of local bands in there, and then try and boost them.
Birth a band.
Birth a band.
Nice.
I mean, I hope I haven't said too much about that, but that's that. The other one is early bird tickets have just gone on sale for Let's Get Together, which is on the May Bank Holiday weekend, 23rd to the 25th of May. But I'm mentioning it now because we will have DJ Soul Provider coming in talking about it later this month.
Excellent.
But now I'll put the details up here. But right now there's early bird tickets. I don't know how much price differs because but it's worth getting in early.
Yeah.
There's only a certain amount of early bird tickets.
Absolutely.
But that's not until the end of next month.
That's
but
3
get your
venues
tickets
they're doing
now.
that over, aren't they?
It's like more. Yeah, it's like more like. Is it 3 venues?
Yeah, I think it's 3.
Yeah, something like 25 artists for DJs plus over.
Oh, that's the thing.
Do I need to go and
There
get
he
the door?
Yeah, would you, darling? Can you turn off your mic when you do?
Oh, do I need to do that?
Yeah, give us it to
How
me.
do I do that? Because I don't know what
I'll
I'm
just
doing.
take it and then I can.
That's it, you
Oh,
take
yeah,
it.
yeah,
You
yeah.
hold that.
Great.
Now I've got right. This is a
I'll
real
let Glenn
test to
in.
see if it works.
Let Glenn
Right,
in.
Glenn's here. I reckon.
Was there anything
I'm
else?
done. I think.
Yeah,
I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, thank you.
So-
Thanks, Jamie. Nice.
Well, I cheers myself.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Have a good one.